Welcome to the pod you're listening to. What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. We're back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. Guys, I am so happy Love Island USA is over. I am so glad, and hopefully my feed can clear out because this show has been the most toxic yet. What are they literally going to do in the future? Because this has been literally a mess. I'm talking about this new show on Netflix, The Polygamist, which was honestly so good. And then we have to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta and why I think Shamea Thornton will not be asked back for another season. Welcome to the pod you're listening to. What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts, and we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. This episode is so toxic. It's a toxic fest. I just finished watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, and perhaps one of the end-all be-alls to someone's whole housewife career in an episode. And I am talking about Shamea Morton. We are doing a very impromptu episode. I was actually in Atlanta a week ago. Very nice out there, very good vibes. I did not hit any of the housewife landmarks except for I think they filmed at like the fish market or something. I did see that. I just need a lot more time in Atlanta in a car. I don't know, or I need, like, it's not definitely a walkable city. Like, it's definitely, like, Uber here, Uber there, Uber everywhere. Yeah, it's definitely, like, a city you would need a car. It's different because I feel like maybe, like, other cities we've had a rental. Maybe we should have done the rental thing, or, like, it's definitely one of those, like, the Ubers add up down there. The money and stuff adds up down there. Shockingly, it felt more humid though in Cleveland than it did even in Atlanta, Georgia. But it's so fitting that we were down there. Really nice. Lenox Square, amazing. Discovered this Korean beauty skincare store, which I'm like, I needed in Cleveland or wherever I'm at next. Like, I need that Korean skincare store. I'm a huge Korean skincare beauty girl. I credit it to a lot of my stuff. If you guys are ever curious, for those on YouTube, how my skin is so flawless and glowy, I contribute a lot of my skincare progress to Korean skincare mask and products. Anyway, I am very conflicted about this episode. We don't really have any reality topics. I really want to hop into Real Housewives of Atlanta. I want to talk about Love Island. And I want to talk about this show that I literally binged over the course of 2 days on Netflix, The Polygamist. I want to talk about that. There is this rumor going around. There's 2 rumors going around, which we're going to talk about, but I'm not going to give it any credence because the rumors are very time sensitive. We'll just say that. I want to hop into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Obviously, Real Housewives of Atlanta took a break last week. Real Housewives of Atlanta was not airing while I was in Atlanta. How rude, right? But no, it's perfect. I came back just in time. I just finished that episode, you guys. And that was shocking. I now understand why Shamea and Portia are both saying there's no coming back from it. I don't like to say I'm an adversary, but I think when you're podcasting and when you are a content creator, you really do have to look at both sides of the spectrum, and you really can't be dogpiling on these people that you eventually would love to meet or interact with, or just in general. Like, you have to have your own opinion. I see a lot of podcasters and content creators all form one opinion. We talk about that when we talk about Love Island, okay? Everyone has the same freaking opinion, and it's so annoying. So I don't like to say I'm an adversary. I just say I like to look at the whole coin, okay? All right? That one's heads, the other side is tails. I like to look at both sides. I like to look at them together sometimes. Sometimes it's right in the middle, okay? And I have been very supportive of Shamea this season because I have felt like there's been a lot of dogpiling of her and Kelly. I felt like once you go against your faves on a show, you are forever exiled. We see that everywhere. We've seen it in Love Island USA currently actively playing out. And now I am finding myself not necessarily on Portia's side, but there are some things that if were done to me would be, we wouldn't be able to come back from it, obviously. Shamea laid the whole clip out in the words of Britt from last season. I personally wanted her to lay the clip out because I was getting sick and tired of us glossing over the fact of what is the issue with the mothers and why is this spilling over into your friendship? And it's like, honestly, when you look at it, of a friend, like when your parents are fighting and you're friends, it's clearly going to affect your friendship. This whole episode was a lead up for Shamea, and we could see it kind of being foreshadowed. Even K. Michelle, when Pinky's like, I know there's still like some weirdness between you guys. Even K. Michelle's like, I just think she got a lot going on. She think everybody her op. And I really appreciate K. Michelle remaining very neutral. I really appreciate her not dogpiling, but I also understand K. Michelle being like, this isn't the friend that I'm used to seeing. This is someone that has their back against the wall and that thinks everyone is out to get them. And it's like, you as a friend, when you start recognizing that, it's best not to even dogpile or add on, right? I think K. Michelle is mostly like, I'm not about to add to her stress right now. However, is there a difference in her and us? Yes, there is. So we kind of see that building up throughout the episode, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like K. Michelle and Shamea gonna have like a conversation. Like there's always like a conversation needing to be had, right? But K. Michelle opts out of it. She's just like, it's not necessary right now, okay? The ladies partake in some festivities. It is day 2 of Scotland. And yeah, it was a very dry episode leading up to the dinner. And I'm not even going to say dry. It was just a very wholesome episode, okay? We do know Pinky had another breakdown. And I watched Pinky Cole on Cam Newton. I thought it was an amazing interview, and I might make a TikTok about it. So I will recap it and just give my bullet points. But I think it helped me understand like Pinky Cole so much more. And I would honestly, if you're on the fence of like Pinky Cole and you're like, who is this woman? Who is this hoe? Right? In the words of Kenya Moore, if you're kind of just like finding yourself on that and you're just like, who is this person, right? Watch the Cam Newton one. She talks about everything she's overcame. I didn't know Slutty Vegan really popped off during COVID, right? I just knew it was pretty popular. Oh my gosh, guys, Slutty Vegan's actually coming to Cleveland and Columbus. So that'll be pretty dope. And it's coming this fall. So I'll definitely be here to see it. Definitely want to check it out. But other than that, I really appreciate Pinky Cole after watching her on Cam Newton. I was already kind of like team Pinky Cole. But Pinky had to break down this episode because she's like, I just spent $20,000 in 24 hours because she got lawsuits, she got to pay this. It was just a lot. It's like, imagine. And that's how I will say, in terms of her and everyone's like, she's broke and this whole bankruptcy thing, I will say we're talking like serious money. Like for her to go bankrupt, this is like serious money. The issue was that she was only being able to float, like she had like 5 million left in the bank for this business, right? And so when someone would be like, oh, that's plenty. Now when you have all of these franchises, now when you have to pay the mortgage on your restaurants, now when you have all these bills, 5 million is not enough to keep it afloat. So she really did break down the business model and what really went wrong and how she did have regrets of walking away from her brand very early on. And kind of not, obviously I'm not going to compare like, these two stories, but I am going to compare the women unfortunately selling their brand or giving it to someone and mostly becoming like the face of a little too early. This reminds me of Jo Malone's story. Jo Malone has, ever since she sold her brand to Estee Lauder, has regretted even doing that, and just like she says she just regrets doing that. And from what it sounds like, Pinky Cole did not want to throw this business partner under the bus. Also, another gag from the interview. Guys, I'm about to give you the Spark Notes version because this is like just leading up to everything in this scene when she's talking about in Real Housewives of Atlanta. the same business partner is the same one for her husband for the Philly cheesesteaks. So obviously she's not in business with that guy anymore, but he was invested in both of their businesses. So I'm like, dang, right? That's insane. Other than that, it just reminded me of like the Joe Malone story, of like a woman regretting selling her business prematurely, right? To a huge business, to a huge company, right? Angela takes Pinky's tears and associates it with money. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm really kind of looking at Angela sideways, because you too would be crying if you lost 20K in 24 hours. So I'm just like, Angela, she's just very. Is she a Sagittarius? She's very sneaky to me. She's very sneaky and conniving. I need to look up her zodiac sign like right now. Angela Oakley, zodiac sign. Let's see when her birthday is. She's a Taurus. That is shocking. I mean, it's not shocking, but it is shocking. I thought, yeah, she's very sneaky, in my opinion. Very sneaky and kind of annoying. Like, it's just like, you too would be very affected if you had to spend $20,000 in 24 hours unwillingly, just on lawsuits and stuff. Like, we know you've had issues with your real estate stuff. So I didn't like that comment of her saying basically Pinky needs to realize her worth is so much more than what's in her bank account. It's not that. It's the fact that, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of what's in the bank account, but it's just also like, I'm just throwing away money for reasons I don't even know, just so I'm not liable, just so I'm not on the floor, just so that I'm not having to file bankruptcy, which I ended up having to do. Like, I don't think Angela understands like how much of a mental warfare Pinky Nicole is going through right now. And to kind of subside her to, you need to know you're worth more than your money. It's not about that. It's about, I'm running these businesses and clearly stuff wasn't being handled. And now I gotta pay 20K within 24 hours. Like, it's so much more about the money. It's so much more. It's about her brand. It's about her company. It's about her like reputation. Like, it's just like, I don't even know where this money's going to. These lawsuits that are coming up out of nowhere, like, it's a pretty serious thing. So I don't like how Angela kind of like minimizes her, and she's just like, like, she would be a lot happier if she realized it wasn't about the money in her bank. And it's like, it's not even about that. This ain't even her bank. This is her business bank. And it's about her businesses. So sometimes whenever I see Angela Oakley, it do be giving hater. Like, I do think Angela Oakley is high key a hater. She has moved on from the whole Portia situation, but she still bring up the fact that Portia will sleep with your man or any man whenever she can. She still just be poking at people in confessionals, and she's a very shady person, and she's not to be trusted. The last episode prior really left a bad taste in my mouth about Angela Oakley, and I'm seeing it even more. And now it's like, this woman is literally crying and vulnerable, and you're like, you're crying about money. And it's like, yes, bitch, like, what else am I about to be crying over? Like, I owe 20, like, I just spent 20K for something I don't even know what. So it's just like, Angela, you would be crying too, or weren't you crying last season when it was giving you had to give up your real estate dreams? The flipping wasn't flipping, okay? And you had Charles constantly investing in your money or your business, and it wasn't coming to fruition. So I also think with Pinky is sort of this loss of a dream. Like, your dream is crumbling. This is a business. A business that's supposed to be bringing in money, but right now it's just producing money. It's a lot bigger, and I don't like the fact that Angela is kind of like, you're crying about money. Get over it, girl. I don't like that. I don't know, Angela. I don't know. I think you're letting the fans get to you. I think you are more important than what you are. And I think she might needs to be humbled, especially come the reunion, which apparently was really good. But apparently K. Michelle did unfollow Shamea, so that friendship has broken up. Obviously, I'm going to make a TikTok about this, but the friendship was never going to work out with K. Michelle and Shamea, because I don't even know how Shamea's friends are okay with the fact that she is friends with K Michelle, the elephant in the room. If you guys really want to see a show, let's just mingle it all together. Let's get a whole melting pot of different networks. Let's get some Oprah Winfrey channel on Bravo. Let's pull Tamar Braxton from the Braxtons and put her on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think that'll fill in a lot of holes. And let's put Candy Burris back on, because the issue is that Shamea is friends with all these folks in Hotlanta, and none of them really fool with each other. Okay. I don't know what happened. Obviously, so Candy is cool with Toya, Monica, and Toya, I say Lil Wayne's baby mama, Regina Carter's mom. Candy Burris, obviously. We got Monica. We have Neo's wife. Somebody in that group, and Rashida. There we go, Rashida and Rashida's from Real Housewives. I mean, from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Rashida is not cool with K Michelle. Okay. What did K Michelle do to Rashida? Oh my gosh. Rashida got bags. Her husband's a girl. Okay, I'm just trying to remember, because there's been a lot on Love and Hip Hop. Yes, Rashida got bags. Her husband's a girl. Her career's over all over the world. Rashida and K Michelle did not get along. So was I very shocked to see that Shamea formed a friendship with K Michelle? Yes. And I'm very interested to see how that friendship with with Rashida's going. Obviously, with K Michelle, it's not going well because they've unfollowed each other following the reunion. Regardless, there's so much history. Keep in mind, then we have the whole Tamar of it all. So there's just a lot in Atlanta. And that's why K Michelle for the longest has been like, Atlanta has not treated me right, these friendships and stuff. But it's like, K Michelle, you was actually giving these girls hell on Love and Hip Hop. So it's like, you're not this innocent, puppy dog that you pretend to be. Like, you actually had a bark back, right? You had a bark back. And I'm wondering if K Michelle is cool with Mimi now. I don't think she is cool with Mimi at all, but it is very interesting because obviously Mimi, Drew Sidora, Ty Young, there's that whole thing. Best believe once I do start picking up my What's the Reality on What the Reality, I am having a hot girl summer. So I am trying to maintain just good vibes, stress-free, not overworking myself this summer. I'm treating this summer like actual school break. So once I get back to What's the Reality, a deep dive that is definitely coming will be the whole Shamea and Portia friendship, because this is something that goes deep. And that's leading me into what I'm going to say next. So now we have this big lead up. This whole episode, Shamea is clearly at odds with a lot of the girls. And now she, in the midst of all of this, is finding out that Kelly is cool with Portia and them. And now you can tell it's really starting to sit with her that she's like, wow, I'm the odd man out. And I think she hates that. And I think she's just kind of like, what am I supposed to do with that information? So I think Shamea literally was trying to not even conjure a storyline. I think this is what's happening. And that's why I appreciate her laying the clip out. But it just didn't make sense. So she's bringing up the fact of at the dinner table, she's like, Portia, I was shocked to learn that you don't want your daughter coming over to my house. I wouldn't do anything to harm your kid. In that same breath, she was like, your mom slept. Your mom wanted to sleep with my dad. And I was just like, what? And then Portia's rebuttal, which I'm not giving any credence because I do think Portia just made that up. She was like, your mom slept with your brothers. I slept with your dad's brother. Rewind. How did we get here? Shamea clearly feeling the type of way. Everybody's cool but her. She sat down at the table. Portia and Kelly are going over the grievances and how long of a way they've came. Kelly says she likes Portia better when she's dating girls. She says she's nicer. And yeah, they're having a key. Shamea's watching it play out. She doesn't like it. And she brings up the kids. Yada, yada, yada. This comes after, though, Drew, which I thought was a little weird, brings up the dynamic between Dennis and Portia. Basically is saying, I met up with Dennis in the studio. He's saying he still likes you, all this stuff. And yeah, I guess what really changed with Dennis is when Sway entered the picture. He's like, there may be no winning Portia back now, right? Um, and she said he needs to just focus on being like co-parents. And then somehow that got into Shamea wanting to be like, well, speaking of, I'm shocked that you wouldn't have Pilar over to our house, knowing I wouldn't do anything. And then they start getting into it. And she was like, and then to bring up my mom, it really snowballed into this whole thing. She's like, why would you bring up my mom on social media when we both had said we didn't want to be on there? And now we're revisiting just old storylines. So she's like, I knew you didn't want me to be a peach holder, all of this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And then she drops the bomb about the moms. And it's like, we have said for the longest we've wanted this information about the moms. Like, what is the real tea besides the whole daycare thing? I was doing some investigating, some due diligence on the side, and apparently, let me pull up. Like, honestly, there was some threads or whatever, because we all know it was about the daycares. Shamea's mom had bought the daycares from Diana, right? Let's see. Diana and Shamea mom drama. I'm going to find a Reddit thread because, like, what is going on? So we know that Portia is the first one that has brought the attention about, like, the moms and, like, the low down dirtiness. So first of all, we had the daycare debacle. So the primary catalyst for this fallout is business related. Fans widely agree that, okay, this is an AI thing. So basically, Shamea's mother purchased or took over commercial space on a foreclosed daycare center that Miss Diane either previously owned or was actively trying to secure, which was seen as a major betrayal. In the midst of that, though, I will say I heard that she was only able to do that because the daycare, Diane was not going to get it because allegedly um a kid did pass away. I don't know if it was under Diane's care, but it was under her daycare, allegedly. That was one of the rumors that have been going around. So I guess then it was up for foreclosure and Shamea's mom bought it. So that's kind of like betrayal number one that we're apparently talking about. My question is, did this happen after Momma Diane tried to sleep with Shamea's dad? Was this kind of a get back thing, like, oh, since you want to try to sleep with my man, I'm about to buy your daycare business? Because that's what it's honestly giving, a retaliation. Because why else are you trying to do this? You know what I mean? Especially if we're friends. That aside, I don't understand how Shamea, her mom, who I cannot remember her name for the life of me, Diane and Portia have all even been able to remain friends after this whole debacle. It has seemed like, I don't know how they've been able to even keep a relationship if something like this seriously has happened. And then my question to Shamea is, if Momma Diane has indeed tried to, sleep with your dad, why do you even want Pilar and Portia and them around? Why are you still trying to be friends? I don't know. I think it happened though. I do think something probably happened back in the day when they was all kicking it friends and they probably tried to sleep together. I do think Portia and her mom are very similar. I don't really care for her mom. Her mom okay, but like, from what I've seen, her mom is the type to like, you need to marry a rich man. You're not the rich man, right? And I think that's what she instilled in Portia. And I talked about this in one of my deep dives. I swear I did. I swear I did. And I think this was Portia and Simon's deep dive. I talk about how you can tell Momma Diane is the type to be like, you are, you need to be securing the prize. You are not the prize. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to chase the bag. Like, I think that's her morals and standards. And also that's very Southern culture. Like, the moms raise the daughters to find the meatiest, the greediest, the most financially secured, wealthiest man ever. That is very big in Southern culture. So I feel like that has been Momma Diane's personality. Now, was she trying to secure the man too? I don't know. But this reaction, this big blow up, this, bringing this to the table, I think the moms definitely should be at the reunion. Obviously, they're not. The reunion's already filmed. I think the moms should be at the reunion. But this is why everyone has said since Scotland, there's no way Portia and Shamea will be cool again because of the depth of this relationship and the severe ties. The women's reaction at the table was very, no one was expecting this. And then obviously to Uno reverse it, we have Portia saying, well, your mom slept with your dad's brother. And it's just like, damn, did she? Like, it's just a lot. I don't know why both parties would even want to be friends after all this. I don't even know how the moms could be friends after the business betrayal and, you know, even the sleeping of husbands of brothers. Like, if these are things that are happening, this is a messy friend group. This is a very messy friend group, and I expect nothing less. It's Hotlanta, and it's Portia, and it's Shamea. But this tells me now that this goes way deep. Unfortunately, because she did air this out, I do not see Shamea returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. She has been she's going to be completely iced out. I think Kelly will be back. I do not think Shamea will be back. I think it's unfortunate because I do think Shamea is interconnected with a lot of people. Maybe they just like put the Portia stuff to bed and let's focus on this K. Michelle stuff. Let's get her activated. But unfortunately, I do think Shamea's time is probably up because to drop such a bomb about the family ties and what's really going on, like, yes, I wanted that, but it's a big betrayal to bring it to how many people watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's a huge betrayal, and you got this whole cast looking at you sideways. Where do you literally go from here? I think it's going to be a very tough season for her, end of the season for her. I think it's going to be very difficult for fans to even sway in her opinion. What I will say, I'm not still joined on the dog pile. You can tell Shamea has had it. I don't know why hearing that she don't want Pilar over would really affect you like that. I mean, would you send your kids over there if y'all not really cool? You know what I mean? So it's just like, and then also you didn't even want Portia there. You know what I mean? Especially for Gerald's birthday. So I'm seeing a lot of hypocrisy on both ends. Yeah, I think Portia is a very seasoned housewife and she's using that to her benefit and she's not biting in. I think her anger management classes have been working. And I think she is playing chess and Shamea is still playing checkers. Shamea is playing Connect Four, okay? And they ain't connecting. They're not fouring. She might as well try to play checkers at this point because it's just not working. It's not working. I would have held on to that. Maybe kept it for the reunion. Like, what is the real drama between the moms? But I do believe there has been some romantic involvement, and I 100% believe that somebody was trying to sleep with somebody. And now I'm curious, did it happen? That was Real Housewives of Atlanta. Perhaps, like I said, a career ender. We probably just watched, you guys, someone's whole career literally done in Housewives, at least. Like, I don't see how Shamea comes back from this because, like I said, in the words of Britt Eady, she laid the whole clip out. And obviously I'm glad she laid the clip out because I just wanted to know, what is the drama between the moms and why is it affecting you guys? Why would it affect you guys? And that's why it involves your dad as well. There's a lot, but I want to know the order of events. Who stole the business first? Who tried to sleep with who first? Like, and how long were the moms friends? Andy really do need to have the moms on because that would fill in so much. And it's like, y'all not surely here beefing about the moms. Now, what is Shamea and Portia's issue besides the moms? Because y'all was friends regardless after all that mom stuff happened. Like, that didn't switch anything at all. You know what has switched? My love for Love Island USA. I am so glad Love Island USA is over. I have never, like, I've spoken on Huda, and that is still my highest rated video on my reality page with over 1 million views. And the hate was crazy then, but like a lot of people, it's very interesting. I think a lot of people, we all kind of just knew Huda was crazy, right? We're just kind of like, this is crazy girl, Christ almighty, right? with KC, you're really seeing this divide, especially within the Black community. And with that, unfortunately, we're seeing this anti-Blackness come from that. And when I say anti-Blackness, I'm saying because your faves are Black, you're okay exhibiting racism, bigotry towards a Black man, which is never okay to me. There are tweets and images of Tierra TT as a gorilla in a dress, as a man, Casey as a woman. No, Casey as a woman in a dress. It is very nasty. TT has had to disable her comments. I am really afraid for the future of Love Island. You always know you have something good when people are commentating on it, and it's a good thing, right? You want that conversation, you want a culture reset. But ever since Love Island season 6, I've never seen this much discourse. It honestly breaks my heart how these contestants, these Black and brown contestants, go on this show. And you were fine to go on it prior. Like, I cannot imagine what the people would have said if they watched season 5. They would have been calling that really a sort type of way. And it's just crazy to me how you can call TT ghetto and hood for speaking up because she sounds like she's from Inglewood, California. But we all had certain reservations about Trinity joining when we first heard her or saw her. So it's just like the PR, the crisis management has really been insane to me. But yeah, my heart goes out to TT and KC. I will never ever provoke that sort of hate and instill it. I just won't. So I've really kept my opinions to myself. I actually tapped out watching Love Island USA. The last episode I watched was episode 27. And I don't know, I stopped watching like the episode after movie night because the silence was so loud for Sincere and the support was still there for him versus Casey, who I felt like was not nearly as bad. I just think he had a negative experience dating Anaya. Obviously he could have gone about it a better way, but I don't know. He was going to be damned if he did, damned if he don't. It's almost as if I could literally see this from the jump. So, as you know, Trinity and Bryce have won, and it's so different now. They didn't even get a chance to split the money, but we knew they were going to split the money. So they both got 50K. The reunion is not coming out until August 31st, and I think that's really good. Let's push it back. Let's have the dissertations, the discourse die down a little bit. Let's have them live their lives. Let's have them go on the podcast. I know Kenzie will be on Call Her Daddy, which I will honestly be watching. I'm very interested in that one. And yeah, by August 31st, I'm very curious to see when they'll film, though. I'm sure they'll film like that week. Editors can work fast, even though I think it should be like a live reunion. But I think it'll be interesting to see who's together and who isn't together. I will be really shocked if Melanie and Sincere are still together, or Anaya and Carl. And Kata and Zach. I think once Kata's out, obviously she's out now. um, we have to talk about that date. Kata and Zach's date was literally like a representation of like, you're in 4th place only because we had to get rid of KC and Tierra. Like, you would have been in 10th place. Like, it was a very good representation of how he treats her in that relationship. It was a pile of literal shit. Like, they were on a swamp, like they were Shrek and Donkey. Like, it was honestly insane. So obviously we knew they got 4th place. From my understanding, then it was Melanie and Sincere, and then Anaya and Carl, then Trinity and Bryce. And obviously Trinity and Bryce's date, spectacular, 10 to 10. I didn't watch it, but you can just honestly tell like the placement and stuff. So the fact that Anaya and Carl were even 2nd place honestly shocking me. But like I said, I've said it before. I was like, I've never felt more disconnected than like a group of Islanders. I honestly could care less of any of them. One, individually, I do like Kata, Melanie. It stops there. I think the Stam Wars are crazy. I think Casey should stay off social media. and TT should for a while. People are like using AI to edit stuff of her responding, being shady. What I will say is she says she's not really interested in being friends with the folks. We do know that Kenzie's already caught talking crap about the core four, the final four. I find it very interesting that a lot of the dump people are not messing with anyone that's made it, and it kind of tells a story, because normally that never really happens. Normally it's like people get dumped and like, I was so close with XYZ there, like I'm rooting for them. These people that have been dumped, they're not really rooting for any of these people. They could really care less. They're like, this is a very terrible batch. And I agreed that it was a terrible batch of people. Parmita and Corbin, I am interested in that after Sun. I'm probably just going to tune in and watch that. Sierra was not there physically because she has to film for Summer House, and they already put it on hold for her too long. I was shocked to see KJ is actually filming for Summer House, because I thought he was not as bad for his mental health. Speaking of Summer House, this is one of the rumors I was talking about that I don't really want to give credence to, because obviously it's such a time sensitive rumor. But Amanda has been spotted a couple of times in a flowy dress, and people are saying she's pregnant. Who is the daddy? It could be Kyle Cook. It could be Wes Wilson. We don't know. Another time sensitive is that we do know someone on I think they were saying the right side of the couch at the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion is pregnant, and the only reason we know that is because Claudia Jordan, and I'm very disappointed to say that she would share that. I don't know why she would share that information. I think that was very premature and very rude to share someone's pregnancy news, but Cynthia Bailey recently did on the Humble Brag podcast confirm that there was a pregnancy announcement. So because I watched Pinky Cole on Cam Newton, she had a top on, but it's like she was sitting down. Um, I don't think she was pregnant. So I don't know. Hopefully it is Shamea in the surrogate. Like hopefully it's a good pregnancy. Who's on that right side? Or it could be K Michelle. I know she was looking to really grow her family. I don't think it is who's on that side of the couch. I don't think it's Kelly at all. It can't be Kelly at all. But yeah, that is in terms of Summer House, Love Island, Bravo. Like I said, I'm so glad Love Island is done. I want to talk about Love Island UK, that is still literally bringing in bombshells after Casa More. And it's like, this is what dreams are made of. This is what Love Island is made of. There's some new bombshells. The girl's eyes are beautiful. Her brows are really nice. So I'm really excited for that. But now we are seeing kind of the end of Sean and Lola. Spoiler alert, you guys. I got the spoiler alert because I'm on Twitter that they were dumped, or that they self-dumped because they found what they were looking for. And I think Sean was a little upset. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that she'll be leaving the villa soon, because, you know, Lola has been a true bird, like a true daffodil. I also think Sean is really weird and messy. Like, I don't think Juliet was like really flirting with him like that insane at all. I think that he wanted to make Lola jealous, and he successfully did that. And yeah, now I just got an idea. Now not siesta. Okay. And now Lola's like starting something with Juliet. But it's kind of funny because it's like, I think everyone in the villa is like realizing how crazy Lola is. And it's like, she is so gun-ho on winning this money, or like making it to the end, or having a boyfriend. She doesn't care. When it's like, I don't even think her and Sean are like compatible. First of all, she said the money thing was a big thing for her, and they kind of glossed over that. And then second of all, you can tell she's very petty, and he doesn't like when she's super petty. He doesn't care for it at all, even though you're the one that made her petty. So very interesting. Angelista and Simba, I hate to say it, but I'm actually rooting for them at this point. I love how he is literally simping over her. As soon as he brought back Mara from the Love Island Casa Villa, he regretted it instantly, and it was so hilarious to watch in real time. Mara is a true baddie. I want her in All-Star games or whatever. She looks amazing. But yeah, your man wasn't in there. And the way that Jordan literally played her last minute, when she was the only one that expressed interest in him. So imagine all of our shocks when he did not pick her. I was just like, boy, who do you think you are? Other than that, I'm kind of rooting for Angelista and Simba, even though I know they're not going to win. They might make it to the top couples, though. I just think when you have that much like back and forth, I'm really realizing in real time, Simba's genuinely trying to change for him. I don't like how Mika's like inputting, like, if you don't leave him, I'm gonna have to have a serious talk. When you were one of the girls he was trying to explore with, like Mika. I do like Mika, but it makes sense every time I'm reminded she's only 21. I'm like, oh girl, you got a long way to go. I like Angelista. At first I made comparisons to Mimi, because I thought Mimi was kind of boring. I thought Angelista was kind of boring. But I'm like, no, I kind of like her. And I like that, unfortunately you can't help who you love, but not in a friend way. I'm not excusing Amanda and Wes Wilson at all. I mean, you can't help who you love. I genuinely see love between Angelista and Simba. Like, I think he's actually falling in love with her, and I think he's realizing he needs to love her more than he needs to love himself. I think Mara clocked that. And I think the fact that she's so concerned with what her friends will say and what her family will say, and she's trying to make the best decision for them, kind of proves it. But even though she doesn't want to make that decision, kind of proves that she loves him too. And I love when we can watch actual couples on Love Island. And I'm like, maybe the USA should extend it so I can really feel like these connections with these people, because I actually feel these connections with these people on Love Island UK. I genuinely think Simba and Angelista, in some twisted way, it's toxic, but I do think they love each other. It's shocking to me that I think Jasmine might actually love Cav. I don't even see them working. I just don't. She's 27, he's 21. What does he have going on for himself? And that is honestly would be one of my biggest questions if I was dating him, as because I'm literally gonna be 27 in a couple weeks. Like, I'm like, it would be very difficult. It's difficult for me to even talk to a 24-year-old, okay? 24, 25. I'm just like, what do we have in common, right? What can you do? What can you add to the table? Because the biggest conversation is what does a woman bring to a table? Oh, we bring, when a lot of men date with eyes, right? So it's like, obviously you want someone pretty on your hip. But other than that, oh my gosh, I bring you security. I bring you a family, possibly. I bring this sort of nurture men. That's what they want you to say. And then when you look at the men, obviously you want them to say financially or how they're making you feel secure or comfortable in your femininity. I don't think Cav makes Jasmine comfortable in her femininity at all. At all. Because whenever she pipes up, he's like, calm down. So it's like she's not even vulnerable enough to be feminine with him. And I just don't see them making it outside of the villa. I'm trying to think what are some other couples. I guess we're seeing Craigs. Poor Ellie has had it terrible, just as bad as her foundation. She has not had it pretty good. And it's crazy to me because I was low-key still rooting on Aiden and Ellie to get back together, because I do feel like they're probably better suited out of everyone they've both been with. But yeah, Finley's already has the googly eyes because this girl, she is a pretty girl, I will say. Like I said, her eyes and brows are amazing. Is a little interested in him. And Ellie, like, her foundation is not getting it. She's not getting it. And Ellie, though, was voted a fan fave, as was Lorenzo. He was voted favorite boy. And I actually like Lorenzo and Julia. I think he needs someone that's like that. She kind of reminds me of Jasmine in a way, but you can tell he likes her so much that he's willing to risk his friendships for her, because friendships is a huge thing for him. But you can tell he's actually really likes Julia, because he just likes the way she stands up for herself. I don't know. I see them working. I don't see them lasting, but I do see them working. I think she's really good at giving it back to him, and I think he really finds that exciting. And then who else am I like, I wanted to put my 2 cents in? Okay, so this whole Aiden and Priya situation, I cannot. It's not it. And for Priya to now act like, oh my gosh, well, finding out on movie night, like, these girls are like talking crap about you, they're supposed to be your friends. Like, obviously that sucks, because Mika and Jasmine were shady towards her. And a couple of things, and they could have clipped them for a lot more, I'm just saying. But for you to act like you didn't know Jordan was more interested In Priya, I mean, in Jasmine, it's a lie because Carlos told you. You just wasn't feeling Carlos because he had it on you way too much. But it's like you kept bringing up Carlos. You like the challenge. Priya likes the challenge. But then when you see it in 4K, you're like, why didn't you tell me this? Carlos told you this. And Jordan. Like, I don't think Jordan ever really gave you a red, like a green light that he wanted you. He was really interested in Jasmine. Jasmine's so gun hold on Cav. So I don't know, Priya now acting like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe no one told me that. Like it's kind of annoying. And then a couple up with Aiden, and now all of a sudden you're like shocked that Aiden never mentioned you in the villa or all of that. I don't know. Priya do be doing a lot to me. She be doing a lot. But you know who's doing the most? Netflix with this stellar banger, The Polygamist. I always want to say Polygamist. What is wrong with me? It's The Polygamist though. It is this South African series. I think it's South African. And if the subtitles thing annoys you, then maybe you're not going to like it. But I think it's a really good show. It was trending on Netflix for weeks long. And when I finally got Netflix again, I was like, you know what, I'm going to add it to my list. And it was 22 episodes. It was very much like a telenovela, very dramatic. And it told a very good story of like, when you lead with lust, this is what happens to you. It is about, I'm trying to think, I really binged that in 2 days, y'all. It was such a good like quick show, because I don't think it's coming back for a second season, even though it was trending for a while. Let me just give you a quick synopsis. Okay, Netflix, pay me, because I'm about to get y'all some more watchers, viewers of The Polygamist. I think it was a really good show. I think it was executed very well. So it's basically about this guy. His name is Jonas, and it always throws me off because the subtitles say Jonasai, which I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it over there, or how you spell it over there. It's about this guy named Jonas, who is this power man, this CEO. He is in control of Holdings J&J, which actually we find out the other J stands for his wife, Joyce. So we are starting the series thinking everything is good between them, and well, not good between them. We know that he hasn't been at home for over a year. He's been living with this other woman. Her name is Matipa. How did that happen? He had some sort of lustful affair with this woman right after Joyce gave birth to their youngest son. But in terms of that, leading up to that, as far as we know, they had been pretty good. So his behavior was very shocking for Joyce to discover. He had been a loving husband. He had been there in the household, active and everything. So then to leave her for this woman that also worked at J&J, who was actually dating his brother Magesh, was insane, right? But this woman her eyes was on the prize of moving up at the company. So she eventually met Jonas, and she was a little promiscuous, put it on him, and literally got him to send divorce papers to Joyce. And I say that because this throughout the series is kind of told through Joyce, or not even Joyce, is told through different perspectives. But as far as I know, Joyce is like the main HBIC. Out of all these women he's dealt with, he always comes back to Joyce. He will always respect and love, not respect, he will always love her, because obviously he didn't respect her. So eventually he realizes that Joyce is like, he can't get rid of Joyce. I mean, it's the mother of his children. He don't have children with none of these other people, as far as we know. And eventually Joyce is in too deep with this whole situation. She wants her husband back. She's tried. He was cheating on her again with the whole Matipa of it all. So she's like, you can be our second wife. That is huge in African countries. They have a lot of wives. Is it culturally acceptable though? I don't know, but it is culturally known in Africa that you have a bunch of wives. I don't know if it's accepted though. And I think that's why I appreciated the series, because I always assumed it was socially accepted. But in this case, we see the reluctancy. We see how much like, I'm just doing this so I can keep my man, but you can do whatever you want. But she still didn't want him doing that. So Matipa's biggest issue is that he was still putting Joyce over her. And this whole second wife thing came once Joyce finds out that he welcomes twins with Matipa. And keep in mind, Joyce is at the hospital trying to get her tubes tied because she thought she was pregnant again. Ends up not being pregnant. She's like, I gotta get this procedure, because she realizes he started acting up as soon as she got pregnant. with the last kid. So she's like, I don't want that again. So she's trying to do all that, and then she finds out basically he got kids on the way. That doctor was chatty. Fast forward, there is this woman, her name is Essie, and she is apparently like married to the brother Magesh. But it's a very weird dynamic. Like Essie is very, I would say, nosy, very spiteful. Not even spiteful, she's just very nosy and very much a naysayer. Like she is very shady towards Joyce and them, and like it's not giving sister-in-law, right? Come to find out, that is also his wife. And that is his wife from when back in the day, them growing up together. They got married. So technically Joyce was the second wife. Or no, Joyce was the first wife. So technically Essie is the second wife. And he has 2 kids. I don't know if it's no, he has 2 kids. Freedom. And I can't think of her other name. He has 2 kids by Essie. So this is 3 wives now, you guys. This is 3 wives. And I knew it with the whole Essie thing, and I knew it with the daughter thing, Essie's daughter, because she low-key looked like him. She didn't look like the brother, but like it was a very weird dynamic between it. It was not giving father daughter relationship. It was giving like, I don't know this man, you know? And she was also very jealous of her cousins who were living in the nicer household. So, yeah, this is his girl from growing up. Essie didn't pay for him to go to school, university as it's called, and really built him up. So, when he was getting married, when it was announced, when he was younger, he was getting married to Joyce. I'm pretty sure Joyce was like a family of power as well. It reminds me of one of those things where it's like where you grew up from. Like you don't forget the people you grew up from. So Essie's one of those people he never forgot. You know, she helped him through college. Like she just paid all his money. And yeah, and then they were supposed to be together, but he would stop calling, they would stop seeing each other, all of this stuff. So Essie is one of those people from your childhood that you don't forget. Joyce is one of those people when you're on the up and up, you know, this is someone that has built me up. This is someone that I'm just thinking in terms of like men and how they date. You know, this is someone you aspire to want. Then once you're in that relationship and you have that aspiration, it's never enough. You get greedy. That's where Matipa come in. But he was just a greedy, lustful man, which is why it was called the Polygamist, because Matipa wasn't enough. You still stepping out on your main wife and then hiding your secret wife, right? And then you didn't overhear making it official in Matipa. So now this is stirring up a lot of drama between the hidden family, Essie and them, because they're basically like, why are we hidden? But now it's announced to the world that you have 2 wives and like 2 families, but we're not considered your family. We're hidden in the shadows because we're from where you grew up, the projects, the hood. So that's where kind of spearheads a lot of stuff. He ends up being very lustful. He ends up hooking up and eventually wifing his daughter's best friend who has grown up with them. And it's not enough. Joyce eventually can't do it anymore and starts planning his demise. She is basically planning his death. I don't know if it's about a scorned woman. I don't know if she's scorned, but she just starts to see him for who she is. She starts planning his demise. I don't want to spoil you guys basically, but honestly, let's talk about it. She basically starts poisoning his food. She meets someone in prison. She went to jail for like a day or two because she like almost burnt down his house with Matipa in it, and they basically like said it was her, but I don't know how she got out of that. But anyway, she meets this woman in jail who has HIV, and you know, she just never forgets that, I guess, or we see in the final arrangement of things. And so then fast forward to I'm like, what is this? I'm like, fast forward to like basically the end of the series, we realize that his death is because of Joyce. Joyce just couldn't stand it anymore. And keep in mind, throughout the series, like Joyce and Matipa end up getting cool, realizing this is a monster. He will never be satisfied. This is a lustful man. This is a man that cannot have enough. He ends up sleeping with the HIV infected woman that Joyce literally set him up with. And yeah, his demise is HIV, and it's so fitting because he cannot stop cheating on his partners. He cannot stop living this crazy life, this very lustful life. And I'm like, this is the only way I'm going to be using the term lustful, not like they do it on Love Island, because Love Island is always lustful this, lustful that. No, this man is a lustful man. And it's never going to be enough. So it's so fitting that his demise is literally from HIV. But it's a very beautiful series. I would definitely recommend it. Unfortunately, I did kind of give you guys the whole synopsis, but it's been out for a while. So it's not like I binged it and it was like freshly out. But that was such a good show. I'm excited to watch some other stuff on Netflix. I think I got to watch I Will Find You. I did watch Next Gen, the first episode. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to come back. It's not a lot of press, not a lot of chatter, and it's not even like it's bad. I just think now that Love Island's over, maybe people now can get back into like the other shows and stuff. I haven't really caught up on The Valley. I'm gonna have to do that. But in terms of The Valley, like, I don't know. I just feel like Lala and Shorts being on there, I just hate a recovering, or I hate someone, not, I don't hate, I strongly dislike people that have been through it and they consider themselves like recovering addicts, recovering alcoholics. And then it's like you're passing judgment on other people's lifestyles. We really need to like look at some other stuff. Like, yes, I know Danny is a drunk and he gets really weird and like aggressive when he's drunk, but like there's some other people on that cast that genuinely might need to look in the mirror when it comes to alcohol intake. Brittany Cartwright. Okay, I'm gonna make a couple of TikToks. Catch me on TikTok. I haven't recorded in a while because I was like, let's let the Love Island stuff die down. Once the Love Island stuff die down, gosh, I've been so exhausted. It's like my whole feed is like, that's one thing I'm gonna try next year, is like not even to really engage with it on Twitter, because it's been my whole feed. It's just been so exhausting. I want to talk about The Valley on TikTok. I'm going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, of course. Those are the two I'm really going to talk about. I might talk about The Polygamist, because that was honestly like the best show I've watched in a good time. It was a really good telenovela. I do love a good telenovela. And I wanted to talk about something else, and I can't remember. But catch me on TikTok, my opinions. I might talk about, I'm not even talking about Love Island. I might talk about the UK, but I might talk about the UK, share my toxic opinion about Angelista and Simba. But other than that, yeah, catch me on TikTok. I'm going to record some TikToks today and share some opinions on the folks, because I have plenty of them. Thank you so much for listening to What's the Reality with me. Why did I just forget my outro? Because it's been a week. It's been a week. Thanks so much for listening to What the Reality with me. Cassie Roberts, until the next time, this was your Toxic Tuesday episode. I'm super excited next week to see what else is toxic going on. Also, shout out to Jay-Z and Beyonce, Rihanna. All the folks came up for Jay-Z's concert. He was performing. He has shaved off his head, looking like that old Jay-Z. The girls had the Timberlands on, the denims, the Yankee tee. Like, it was very New York. It was a very New York vibe, and it was amazing. Beyonce was there. Rihanna performed. Nas was there. So like the old heads loved it. The old heads loved it. The new heads loved it. I hear it was a really good performance. And yeah, I can't believe he got Beyonce and Rihanna to literally perform. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time. Bye.